Hello, BMW blog. You are joining me in the X3 G45 generation. This is the new X3, 4th generation. I'm enjoying Los Angeles traffic here, but luckily I have driver's assistance professional package, so I can do hands-free driving under 40 miles an hour, as long as I'm paying attention. Anyway, let's talk about this car. I've spent about a week with this car, and we get to talk a little bit about what it's like to live with. This is a very important car for BMW. Now, this isn't one of their sexy models in the lineup. I mean, this is one of their most high volume selling cars. This is a money maker for BMW. So while this isn't an M3 competition or a CS, what this is this is the car that BMW can sell a lot of with all that money that can then develop all the M2s and M3s that we love today. So it's an important car. So is it good? Because I think BMW BLOG, we've covered some of the other X3 models, mainly the M50. That one is the lovely, nearly 400 horsepower model with the glorious B58 engine that's in my M340. This one is different. This is the base model, if you want to call it that. So this has the 2-liter direct injected twin scroll turbo B48 that we know and love. It's a really good motor. Think of it as basically a B58 with 2 cylinders lopped off and then some balance shafts, but largely that's what it is. So we'll quickly go over some of the stats about this car. The G45 generation X3 now only comes in all-wheel drive. You can only get it with xDrive. There's no rear-wheel drive model like there was before, which I think is actually kind of a shame, because again, for someone like me that lives here in Southern California, I don't really need all-wheel drive. It's nice to have, and I guess if you're gonna get an SUV, you might as well have it, and the demand was so popular, they just standardized it across all the models. So now you can only get it with xDrive. This particular model weighs about 4,200 to 4,300 pounds, depending on exactly what kind of specs you get on the car. You're looking probably about 500-600 pounds heavier than the equivalent 3 Series. The nice thing about this G45 generation is that it has grown in size, and the X3 is now kind of a pretty big SUV. Despite the fact that this is in the compact SUV segment, this is now actually an inch longer in wheelbase than the first generation X5. And compared to the second generation X5, it's like less than 2 inches difference. So it's a pretty big SUV at this point. I mean, again, in terms of cargo volume, you have 33 cubic feet of space in that trunk before you fold down the rear seats, and then once you fold down the rear seats, I think it's closer to 70. The point is you have more than enough room. I think what BMW has done, and every other car manufacturer has done, is pretty much cars have gotten so much bigger in every single class that the X3 now is pretty much kind of filling in with where the X5 used to be. The X2 and X1 are kind of really the true compact SUVs now. The X5 has grown to just be something that's absolutely huge. Even the coupe version, the X6, I took on a road trip. I mean, it was just massive. I could fit so much stuff for a 10-day road trip in that car, no problem. So again, I think this is actually a really good size. Any bigger, it starts to become almost kind of an inconvenience to live with on a day-to-day basis. But on the other hand, again, any smaller and you start to restrict yourself if maybe you have a family, kids, dog, you need to haul a bunch of stuff around. This is a really good size. Now, going over some other stuff about this car, this powertrain, the B48, it is now different than in the previous generation. So this is a mild hybrid. So just like the B58, that same ZF8-speed transmission with the electric motor built into the transmission, that is now on the 4-cylinder models within BMW's lineup for the most part. The EPA on this rates about an average of 29. You're getting about like 27 city, 33 on the highway is what they say. I've found that I've been able to match that and beat it a little bit. We're just over 29 mpg average since I've been driving this car for about like the last 600 miles. Right now on the highway, without even really trying, we're getting about 32. I've seen as high as 39. Granted, that was mostly going downhill. You can very easily get mid-30s on the highway in this car. It's really efficient for an SUV this size. Power, you're getting about 255 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. So that is actually just as much torque as in a Civic Type R. I think nowadays we get so caught up in power figures and horsepower wars that we forget 295 foot-pounds of torque. That's actually quite a bit for something that's supposed to be the base efficient model. It's more than plenty for what you're going to be using this car for. Again, this is going to be your commuter, your daily driver, something you take on road trips. You're not taking this to BMW M Performance Driving School. If you really care about performance, they make an M50 model with the B58. Unfortunately, there is no X3M announced for this generation. Whether there will be one, I don't know. It would be cool if they did, but I'm not holding my breath. But size, great. There's tons of rear seat room. I'm actually here with my family. My parents are in the car with me right now, and we have had no issues, all three of us driving around Los Angeles in total comfort all week. It's been great. Some other facts about this car. iDrive 9. So this is, again, on a lot of BMW's newer models. I actually, for the most part, it's a good infotainment system. I still think it's probably better than MBUX. It's still probably better than whatever Audi's is called. It does, however, have some flaws, and there's some stuff that they changed in here from an infotainment perspective that I'm actually not a huge fan of. Namely, they keep getting rid of physical buttons and they keep replacing it with things in the screen. For example, in my G20 M340i, there are buttons here on the steering wheel. These, it's like capacitive touch. First off, it's glass. The moment you touch it, it leaves fingerprint smudges and it looks terrible. I don't know if people who design these cars realize that you are going to use the steering wheel when you drive a car every single time. That's mildly annoying, but with the capacitive touch buttons and this steering wheel, they've removed buttons. So previously, when I wanted to change the following distance between me and the car in front of me, I have two buttons that I could either add or decrease the amount of following distance with the adaptive cruise control. Now, if I want to do that, I have to jump through about 3 different menus to change that. That's silly. I don't know why they technically made a worse steering wheel. It physically looks nice. It's just annoying to use. There also used to be a button to reset the trip odometer. That's gone now, and they've gone with this incredibly complicated turn signal stalk here that has everything from again, all of the light controls. I feel like I need a PhD to understand how to use this thing. The more buttons they take away, the more complexity they add into the touchscreen. It just makes it actually less safe to use and more frustrating to use. I am assuming that they're trying to clean up the interior and make it look nicer as they remove buttons, but it's just really annoying. Also, with iDrive 9, compared to iDrive 8.5, there's a couple other changes that I just find to be really annoying that doesn't make any sense. For example, when I want to go and I want to change the fan speed in iDrive 8.5, I can click on that fan icon, get right into it, change it, click the fan icon again, and it brings me out. Here, the only way to get out is touching a button on the side. It's kind of counterintuitive and mildly annoying until you get used to it. That's just my opinion. Hopefully with a software update, they can fix a couple of those minor things. But the good news is we still have the iDrive controller down here, which is nice, but they are capacitive touch buttons. They're no longer physical buttons. And here's the problem. Last night, I was trying to change into efficient mode while driving on the highway, and I found that my charging cable for my phone was touching onto the surface, and I could not get it to change until I realized what was going on. But it's not all bad. Like I said, those are kind of me getting my gripes out of the way with this car. Other than that, there's so many good things about it. So when it comes to interior design, the ambient lighting up here in the front looks amazing. At night, there are so many colors to choose from. I think more than any other BMW that I've been in. I swear, there's gotta be at least like 30, 40 different colors. It's kind of cool, it makes it nice. One minor gripe about that as well, when you go into the different driving modes, you can't detach the interior lighting that you wanted during your normal comfort setting interior ambient lighting. So when you go into efficient mode, you only get one type of ambient lighting. When you go into sport mode, it sticks with that one color ambient lighting. So if you want to be in a different driving mode but keep the ambient lighting color that you like, you can't do that. Again, a real simple software update that kind of lets you just pick and choose what color ambient lighting you have and detach it from your driving mode would be nice. Not the end of the world, it's just an unusual choice, I would say. Other than that, iDrive 9, I will say it is so nice the way that they integrate Apple Maps and Waze into the central driver's display as well as on the heads-up display. This heads-up display is huge, so you present so much information right in front of your face. It makes it so that you'll probably, hopefully, never miss an exit again. I really like this heads-up display. It's just huge, it's bright, colorful, clear. One of the best heads-up displays I think I've ever seen on a car, and again, you're getting it on something that is roughly about $55,000. The MSRP is about $51,000. In terms of how much cars cost today, The average MSRP on a car now is $49,000. This is actually relatively in line with kind of the average price of a new car. And it's nice in here. I've heard a lot of complaints about the X3's interior, and I want to address some of those. Like I said, I've had my complaints about iDrive 9 and some of the haptic buttons, but I will say I feel like the overall quality, fit, and finish and everything is pretty nice. Now, I do want to talk about something that's controversial with the X3, and that's these doors. Everyone is complaining about these door panels. I can understand. There are some weird design choices here. This top material does feel maybe a little bit cheap, but it also feels durable. I think anyone who's driven BMWs in the past, a lot of those old BMW interiors were pretty Spartan. They were fairly well put together, but again, they weren't like super luxurious. I've talked a lot about the driving dynamics of this car, and I've talked a lot about what it's like to live with and just how nice of a daily driver this car has been. But what I do want to talk about now is why would you get the X3 in BMW's lineup? Why the X3, 30? The base one? Well, again, like I've talked about, this is probably one of the most pragmatic, just simple, usable, compact SUVs that you could really ever need. I mean, if you needed one car to kind of do everything, this is a really good option. So again, like I said, if maybe you're not a single or a couple, maybe you have kids or a big dog or something like that, maybe you need to carry a lot of stuff for work, this X3 offers so much space and practicality. And that's what I like about it. I mean, in terms of pricing, this is actually, I would say, priced pretty appropriately for what you're getting. I think it's actually a pretty good value. And like I said, it's just a very simple, usable, everyday car. If you're not worried about performance, because like I am right now, doing 50 miles an hour in traffic on a Southern California highway, maybe you just need to commute on the highway quite a bit, you're driving in the city, you're not racing anyone, you're not going to take this to the track. This is just a good daily SUV. Don't know if I've mentioned it already, but these are probably some of the most comfortable seats in BMW's lineup. I wish I had these seats in my 3 Series. It's really nice that at this price point I can get heated and cooled seats. Believe it or not, the 3 Series doesn't get cooled seats. This does. They work wonderfully. If you have them on full blast on a hot day, it's a wonderful feeling. It's just overall, these seats are super comfortable and supportive. I could easily see myself sitting in these seats on like a 10-hour, long distance road trip, no problem. Speaking of long distance, what's nice about this car is it has a 17.8 gallon fuel tank. When you combine that with the efficiency of this car just has so much range. I mean, the amount of distance that you would travel in between fuel stops, it's quite a bit. I mean, even with all the city driving that we've been doing, what I've been amazed about is when I first got this car with a full tank of gas, it said I had an estimated 580 miles of driving range, which is awesome. And again, if you start doing the calculations, almost 18 gallon fuel tank, getting, 33 to 35 miles per gallon on the highway, this is easily a car that can do over 600 miles of driving. It is nice just having that much flexibility that you don't have to worry about when the next gas station is, when you want to stop for gas. You can kind of choose driving on your own terms. It's really convenient. It's very comfortable. This is not the sporty BMW. This is not the M whatever version of it. It's just the base, comfortable, really good, pragmatic BMW SUV that I think a lot of people are going to buy because it's just a really good car to own and live with on a day-to-day basis. It just makes everything easy. It's great. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.